Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead. The Michonne and Rick story lives on, and a super happy Saturday to each and every one of you. So I just scrolled through a couple comments. We're going to try to avoid spoilers today. This is just, this is our chat, but we do have something special that I want to talk about today. Not really a spoiler, it's just some news that's out there. And by spoiler, I mean, let's not go scene by scene and talk about major things that are going to happen in tomorrow's episode. We will do that during our countdown. So that'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So tomorrow morning stream around noon, we're going to talk about a Walking Dead topic. And then in the 8 o'clock stream, it really is gloves off. And then, of course, our reaction video as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk back through memory lane a little bit because I want to start out by saying thank you to each and every one of you. We set a couple goals during the off season when Walking Dead was winding down. Of course, we were 80,000 subs at our 999 Gaming, and we said we wanted something that could jump on Dead and kind of focus on that a little bit more. So we built that up to over 2,000 subs, so thank you so much. And then what we decided to do was push our 999 Army channel, and we're going to do Game of Thrones, we're going to do events, we're going to do a lot of other stuff. And we said we want to hit 1,000 subs by the Walking Dead premiere, and we're like 952. So I got a very good feeling we're going to hit that tomorrow as well. So I'm going to jump into a super chat, and we're going to get into today's stream. We got Scott, and he says, I cannot be the only one who doesn't want her to leave. I feel there's not a way for her to leave without dying, without it being forced. Scott, I love your enthusiasm, but I don't think so. I'm going to disagree with Scott. And not because of my heart with Michonne, but because I do think it is the movie thing. But table that 1 second, Scott, because you're probably going to have a whole other follow-up comments to that as well. Because I'm going to tie into one other segue. So once again, just thank you to all of you. I think we're going to hit all of our goals, all of the things that we do. Once Walking Dead starts tomorrow, we're going to do 999 Gaming streams, 999 Dead streams, and 999 Army streams with the caption contest and a few other things. So what I thought was kind of special with today's chat, and I know a lot of people, Corey, hold tight. That is going to happen on the 999 Army chat. So stay tuned next week, and we're going to kick this thing off full speed ahead. It's our season starting tomorrow. It's our Super Bowl. Before we get too far into the Michonne and Rick story, what I want to do, and this is why I started with the big thank you, is how many people have been members of this channel for 2 years? If you have, just pike the like button, show a little bit of love, and give me a quick 999. Because I do want to shine a light on those who have been here for a long time. Just to throw it out there. So, Scott, that means the first film must take place 6 years after the events of the TV show, if she is appearing in it. Hey, look, Scott, I don't think she's going to be in the beginning of the movies, but we don't know how long Rick's journey is going to last. Hold that thought, my man. Hold that thought. We're going to get into we're going to break it down. I'm going to work up to that. So look, a lot of people here, look at this, have been here for a couple years. So Rick Fisher Grimes, I've been here since you were playing the games for us. How long has that been? Oh, Rick. Oh, 4 years? 4 years. So when we really got into our forums and our streams, what is the first question I have for everybody here? What's the first prediction that you guys remember that we threw out there before the spoilers? I'm not talking about the spoilers because we confirmed those. Can you guys remember the first one you saw? It's like, wait a minute, this 999 Gaming group, this 999 Army, this 999 Dead group is like a bunch of detectives. We're just putting some theories out there, and we're right a lot of the time. So what's the first prediction that you guys remember that we talked about that was right? And we kind of, in the shadows, we kind of high-fived, right? Now, there's a lot of things that go down, whether it's like, the chicken or the egg. And what happens is we talk about a lot of things, and then next thing you know, it's validated, or another video does it, or maybe somebody with more viewers or more subscribers does it, and it's a springboard. Glenn and Abraham was really one of the first ones, and I see a lot of you guys saying that. Tracy Bledsoe's like, I remember the Glenn and Abraham. And you guys remember we talked about it, one of the first videos I did. I called it the Orange Crush. And I said, well, this would kind of be too cool because, Abraham's orange and he's going to get crushed. And the pushback in that, a lot of people said, And I remember the naysayers. They said, no, Abraham's not going to die because Robert Kirkman said he regretted killing him before All Out War. So it was like, it's going to be Glenn only, right? But we were right. And then we started doing a bunch of different videos of, well, what if this person, what if this? Let's look at the perspective and let's break it down. So the Abe and Glenn thing. But then we kind of took it to a little different story. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was the Simon backsliding scene. You guys remember the scene with Negan and Simon in the sanctuary? And Negan says to Simon, are we going to backslide again, Simon? And we had a live stream, and we talked about that quite a bit and said, look, they're just not going to plant this seed if Simon doesn't have a history. And we put a bold prediction out there that Simon had some issues with the Oceanside, and that wasn't very popular. People were like, no kills. These were other YouTube sites that people were sending me information. They said, that's silly. Simon didn't have anything to do with that. And then we even threw it down and said, wait a minute. Simon, he's going to backslide. He's going to do something either to the hilltop or he's going to do something to the scavengers. And sure enough, it was the scavengers. It was Jadis. He executed them. So after that happened, when there was blue paint and everything all over his feet, what did we do? We came back and said, you know what? Simon would be a good villain. And this is probably 75%. This wasn't really my theory. This was one of you. But I remember the stream we talked about it. And we just came up with a theory. Negan is going to kill Simon. And a few weeks later, Spoiling Dead's fan page confirmed it. And then it spread like wildfire. Like, you know, there's going to be a fight. And then, you know, they laid out the details. We didn't say how it was going to happen. But we did say it was going to happen. And hold on. We got June Smith, 909. I'm so devastated. The latest news. Oh my God, my #1 show is killing me. June, I agree with you. And I'm going to address, that with you and Scott in a second. Because the Michonne news is confirmed. But we've talked about this way before it was confirmed. This is what I love about you guys. You know what? I skipped something. I'm going to throw this out there to the Army. Holler if you remember. Is that a saying like holler if you hear me? Is that The Rock or something? Okay, Ellis, yeah, it's funny. I love when common sense is pretended to be common sense, where it's like, hello, that was a no-brainer. I'm going to disagree with you. After you see it happen, Ellis, when it's obvious, people say it's a no-brainer. But Ellis, when you're in this chair and you remember all the comments, all the hundreds of thousands of comments that I read, not just after it's confirmed, all the people who said that Negan would die and Simon would take over the Saviors, oh, believe me, Ellis, that was a very, very popular theory. Check it out. But even before that, how about Carl? I skipped over something. Over 150,000 views to a video that we posted. And the title of the video was this: Carl will die or leave. Anybody remember that video? Because the stream prior to that video that we posted, we came up with a Carl potentially pirate video. Maybe Carl's coming of age, he's going to leave. And if he didn't leave, he would be killed. So we threw the example out there that Carl would either become a pirate or Carl would die. And thousands and thousands of people came back and said, if Carl dies, I'm going to stop watching the show. There's no way Carl's going to die. Yep, Carl died. Which brings me to Season 9. Season 9 was the Rick. And many of you, because, some of you haven't been here for 4 years. Some have been here for 2 years, maybe a year and a half. Many of you stuck right by me when we said, there is no way that they will kill Rick Grimes. And then you start hearing, no, there's Rebar. He's going to die. And we said, look, it's not possible. Rick is the body of the Walking Dead. And there were some people pushed back and said, nope, if he doesn't die, it doesn't make sense, not congruent. He's got to die. As much as I don't like it, he's got to die. And many of you even said, just the thought of Rick being out there in the Walking Dead universe is enough to keep me watching the show. And lo and behold, we predicted that Rick would be whisked away in a helicopter. Now, we were a little off with that, and I was a little off, maybe not you guys, because I did say it could have been Alpha behind that. You know, maybe she was the kind of the pilot or the military person. Wrong. But we did say without a doubt Rick would live. And here we are with Michonne right on the verge of something. And have we not learned our lesson? Have we not learned? Because now, once again, and Scott, this is not a shot at you, because a lot of people feel the way you feel. Michonne's got to be piked. She's got to be piked. It's just not going to make sense if she doesn't live. And now maybe not all of you, but you know what? I'm going to predict it, and if it's right, then I'll bring you guys into the club. But most of you are on board with this. The prediction that I am throwing out there right now is that Michonne will leave. Next season, she will not die. She will go looking for Rick. She will take RJ. Judith will stay behind. Judith will be on her own to fend for herself, to protect people. And Negan and Judith will form a bond and a partnership. Now, and Ellis, I'm just messing with you, but I'm going to tell you next season, when this does happen, there's going to be people that are going to say, well, it was obvious. It was obvious. It had to happen that way. You knew Michonne was leaving. But here's what's funny about that. We did this 4 months ago. We did this before there was a rumor of Michonne leaving. So now that it's happening, and Hollywood Reporter and comicbook.com and everyone is saying, yes, we got confirmation Michonne's leaving in season 10. She's only going to film a few episodes. It's like old news. Because when you are into The Walking Dead the way we're into The Walking Dead, you get a feel for what the writers are doing. You get a feel for what the characters... The one thing about The Walking Dead is they stay true to their characters for the most part. And you just kind of get that vibe of, yes, we're there. And Tommy V, I'm not even going to say it's, I'm 5 for 5. Because these predictions are just not things that I sit around and concoct, and some are. But most of them are me kind of throwing an idea out there, you guys sort of analyzing it, talking about it, and we take like this big piece of clay and we form it into this big, beautiful, beautiful Walking Dead vase. Like a scene with Patrick Swayze and somebody from Ghost. Leanne's like, we're psychic. No, but I do think that we're right there. We're right there with the writers. So that leads me to exactly where Scott came out with a super chat, and June came up with a super chat where June's like, hey, Kills, I'm devastated Michonne's leaving. And Scott says, well, maybe they have to kill her. I don't think so. But Scott, I think you bring up a wonderful, wonderful point. The timeline. The timeline is 7 years-ish. Pete and Tara making a Claypo. You know what? I wish that was frozen with a big... you know what? I might super chat that myself, Chris, because I want Pete D to see that. I just had the worst visual ever. Mariah Campese, Kills. What is a pirate besides the obvious? In the comic book, Michonne left, and she went out on a boat, and that's where Sadiq and Pete And they were almost like pirates. They just left on a boat. And it was a couple-year time skip. I think they predicted, the people that are experts have kind of said it's probably 2 years. Now, we don't know that that's not going to happen. Now, to Scott's point, it's almost like a reverse time skip. So let's say Michonne, 7 years later, decides to leave, and she gets a word of which direction that Rick could be in, or where they could have taken him, or what could have happened. A lot of the above. I think, Scott, it's important that the first movie will not be about Michonne. So when they say that she may, and they're talking about 3, it doesn't mean they can't do 30, to be honest. They could make this a whole season, like its own spin-off series. Short movies that turn into like a mini-series. So it's conceivable to even think that the first 3, maybe they do 3 more, 5, 6, is just going to be about Rick, about his journey, about who took him, if he's surviving, what he remembers, what he doesn't remember. And the Michonne thing, this is where I think she's going to get bits and pieces, because they said she signed for next season, but it's going to be, an episode here. It's going to be very sporadic where she is. So the question I have for each and every one of you, what validates Michonne's decision to leave and look for Rick? This is important. And this has absolutely already been planted on the show. We know about it, but we've forgotten about it. And when it surfaces next season, you're going to remember exactly why. I Like to Fish says the radio. Very possible, very possible. Julia says Daryl's found clues. Other people saying the radio. But many of you are forgetting a major, major person. Mariah. How many people are forgetting that Negan knows something? Negan knows more than anybody. No, Negan knows more than Father G. I mean, Father G does know about the helicopter, but Negan knows about Jadis and the helicopter and the purpose of it. Negan is a tremendous resource. But Michonne and Negan have not been talking like that. So when Negan gets to a point where people are comparing notes, when they get to a point next season, when the Whisper War is the greatest diversion of all time. See, Amy, that's a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I forgot about Negan. Hold on, because the Whisper War, it's all bets are off. Everybody's surviving. Once the Whisper War starts to fade, and Negan is on speaking terms with people, with Daryl, when he sees the impact that Michonne has still not gotten over Rick of what's important, when Negan can see what's important, and Michonne, if she's willing to make that journey by herself, Negan could provide some really, really solid information. Hey, how about a simple question like, did you ever find Rick's body? Or, what if Negan says, while all that was going on, I heard a chopper in the background. Just anything to plant a seed. Add that with the radio. I do like the radio contact theory. I'm not going to give up on the radio contact theory, but at the same time, I do think when Negan's had a lot of time to think. And I would say if there's anybody that is more clear-minded at this point, Negan probably has the clearest mind of anybody there. So, what would be a reason? You have to think through this one. This is where I need your help because the Michonne and Rick story is going to be big. What do you think the primary reason would be that Negan never told Michonne about the helicopter or about what was going on with Jadis? They did talk. Colleen's like, I'm getting chills with that. They're multiplying. Negan has one selfish motive, and it's not going to be what you think, to not tell Michonne about the helicopter. And it is selfish, Steph. I agree with you. Information is power because knowledge is power. I don't agree, Reed. I don't think it's because he can be leader. Who is the most important person to Negan? Who is starting to become the most important person? If Negan would have told Michonne about Rick, Judith was probably too young to stay behind. That's where I think the story is going. He didn't want Judith to leave, Dirk. That is my theory. That's what I'm going to throw down there. He wanted time to have a friend. He wanted somebody to talk to. He wanted to build a bond. And now that Judith is a little bit older, I do think look, Judith at 10 is probably equivalent mentally to take care of herself of a 20-year-old, 25-year-old. We know that Judith was raised in this environment. He didn't want to lose his best friend. That's all he had. He transitioned where he was spending more time speaking to Judith than anybody else. You know, look at the way he talks. I'm not give too much spoilers, but in this episode, you've seen the teaser, so I'm not going to give you all the premiere information. But Negan does speak to Judith in episode 9. Not going to tell you what he says. You'll watch tomorrow, but we know that. So that's important to him. So next season, when Judith is a little bit older and all the stuff that they go through that we know with the Whisperer War, when the story has to take its next turn, I do think part of that story is going to be Judith saying, Mom, you go look for Rick. I need to take care of these people in Alexandria. Where Judith becomes a partial leader of Alexandria. I could definitely see her being given that role. He did, Crawfish. He had some one-on-ones with Father G. He had some one-on-ones with Michonne. But certainly Negan seems to be the kind of person that can keep a secret. And Wilson says, yeah, but she's 10. She's 10 and has lived her entire life in this environment. Which to me says, look, she's seen Rick. She's seen Michonne. She's seen Maggie. She's seen Negan. Now, I can give it to Aaron. I mean, Aaron can be the leader. But Judith, I could still see having that major influence. I don't think Aaron's going anywhere. And I think Ross does a tremendous job. And Ross gave us a personal shout out to the 999 Army. So, of course, we're going to love Ross. I want Ross to be there for a long time. And if you're watching, Ross Marquand, thank you so much. You're amazing. I will support you as the Alexandria leader. But give Judith the chance, too. Well, you know what? That's a good back and forth. I saw somebody said, it's Najee says, somehow I don't think Negan withheld information intentionally. That's debatable, right? I mean, he's been in a jail cell. He's had plenty of time to think. But I almost see it playing out something like this. Like Negan asking, well, I noticed you guys never had a funeral. So, yeah, they never found a body. Well, of course you didn't find a body. Rick Grimes doesn't die. I think in Negan's mind, he thinks that Rick is alive. I think Negan might be one of the few people out there that thinks Rick didn't die. Everybody else has moved on. But Negan also might walk that line between insanity and clarity. And that's how I see Michonne getting that push to being off the show. I think that's that little nudge. So based on what we laid out today, I'm going to ask you guys right now. I'm going to give you, you know how we do, right? We take our little pulse surveys and see. Michonne dead. Option 1. Michonne leaves in a different way than we discussed, option 2. Or option 3, Negan will continue to do things to surprise us, and Negan will give Michonne a little bit of information to sort of build her hopes and dreams back up, and her quest will become to go find the love of her life, Rick Grimes. That's what I want you guys to... And as she goes on that journey, a few more clues will show up. Hey, where was this found? Footprints. Did anybody else see anything? All right, and one more thing before we wind the stream down, because we're at 27 minutes. It won't be movie 1, 2, maybe not even movie 3. How many people think we will see a Rick and Michonne reunion at some point in the movies? Give me your best estimate right now. If you think that the journey at some point will conclude with them and perhaps making their way back to find Judy at some point. Now, how many people think that Negan will be a solid role model and take care of Judith, or how many people think that no chance? Wouldn't it not be a big achievement if Michonne created a trust for Negan, a trust that's so good that while she goes to look for Rick, she believes that Negan will keep Judith unharmed? We got Sherry Bentley. When and where are we getting together Sunday after the show? 999 Army, 999 Dead. So many changes have happened. So, Sherry, here's how it's going to play out. Over the next couple weeks, we are going to continue to do our live streams on 999 Dead. So, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we will do our countdown right here. We will do our reaction video after The Walking Dead right here. We're going to do some contests, some captions, some other things on the 999 Army channel. And we got a couple more milestones we're going to hit, and within a week or two, we are going to do a big event on the 999 Gaming channel as well. So that's the only three you got to worry about. Make sure you click the notification button. But over the next couple weeks, stay tuned here. Jump into a 999 Army stream or two. Check out some of the premieres that we're going to do on 999 Gaming, whether it's a comic read, whether it is some of the best scenes. There's going to be videos. There's going to be streams on all three. So that's what we got going on. All right, everybody, we're at 30 minutes. It is Saturday afternoon. Want to thank you so much for being here. Once again, the journey has been incredible. I wanted to go down memory lane a little bit and just remind everybody that is here and everybody that's going to be watching as we kick off the season that I don't think you're going to find a better, more accurate group of Walking Dead theorists and predictions out there. Yes, people get a hold of the spoilers, and it's easy to do a video when you have a spoiler and say, I got this information, this information, this information. The one thing I would hope that you guys find different about this channel is long before the spoilers come out, we're not afraid to throw our best guesses out there and to funnel it down and to come up with theories and then use those spoilers to identify what we did. And I just want everybody out there to remember what we do, what we did, and how much fun it is in order to make those predictions. Even when you're wrong, I think it's a ton of fun to make those predictions. And in fact, we might do a follow-up video and come up with our worst predictions of all time. I'm down for that. If you guys would like to see that, hey, most off-the-wall predictions that never came true, if you guys want to do that next week, give me a quick 999, and also make sure you like this button. And in the meantime, I'm going to shout out a few of you people because you're amazing, and you build this channel. I want to thank all the patrons in the top left-hand corner, also all the sponsors in the top right-hand corner, all of our super chatters who got involved in the conversation. We got Scott Kernan, we got Rick Fisher-Grimes, June Smith, Sherry Bentley. Thank you so much for adding your insight and comments to this video. Also, we've got Deborah Farrell, Samantha Coombs, Joey the Gator, Jeep, One-Eyed Carl, Colleen Hayes, Commodore Crawfish, Nick Plant. Thank you, Nick. I like to fish. Wilson, Viola, Tracy Bledsoe, Corey, Mr. Mack, Newfield 12. What's up? Michael Calcutt, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Omicron, thank you. Negan Sandwich, Whisper Zeta. What's up? Walking Dead Nerd, Anna Smith. We're one day away, everybody. Gina Crockett, thank you. Deborah Johnson, Chris Reinig, Dirk King. One thing I'm going to throw out there for you guys is we don't get any more bonus points for being right or wrong. So we're not afraid to admit when we are wrong. I think some people out there think it's a contest. It's not a contest. The secret is it's the fun of the dialogue. When you enjoy talking to people about the show, you can be right, you can be wrong, and you're still going to enjoy talking to people about the show. Jennifer Flaherty, thank you so much. Phyllis, 9654. Dwayne Willis, have a good day, man. Mariah Campese, thank you. Robin Vance, have a great weekend. Ricky Lutz. And I'm going to see most of you at noon tomorrow. So it's going to be Walking Dead Day. I would kind of expect a lot of Walking Dead stuff tomorrow. I would expect a stream at noon. I would expect a stream probably around 3 or 4. I would expect a stream at 8. I would expect something after. I would imagine we're probably going to have 4 streams tomorrow and a comic book read and just a whole lot of other stuff. Get your popcorn, get your Walking Dead pajamas, get your Lucille lamps, anything that you have. Let's just do it. All right, everybody, have a good afternoon. Nothing else posted today. Get some rest, but tomorrow is going to be a crazy, crazy Walking Dead day. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.